Just when you thought it was safe to go back to the theaters.
Hey everybody, welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them? A title fight is brewing. That's right, this season, Eddie Murphy versus Jim Carrey. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is the nucleotide I am with, Joe Vekeman.
The Klumps are back!
Yes, and on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is All That Yaz, the updated remake for a Gen Z mindset. Come on out, Queens. It's All That Yaz. All right, Joe. What movie are we doing this week?
This week, we ventured down a strange path, and we met the Klumps. We watched The Nutty Professor 2, The Klumps.
We had met the Klumps. The Klumps were there in the last movie.
Yeah, but we're meeting the whole family now.
We did, didn't we?
You feel like we did meet the whole family?
Yes, they were all at that table.
Well, I kind of question, why does this movie need to exist?
You were excited about this movie, or you liked it or something.
I was, and you know what?
What?
It was because I remembered the first 5 minutes of the movie and the last 5 minutes of the movie.
You remember two different wedding scenes of the movie? That's what you remembered? Yeah, and you were like, that must be the same wedding, right?
It's the same wedding. And that's the whole movie, right? It's at the wedding.
Well, this was the movie I was dreading the most when we began this season, because I had seen this movie when it came out in theaters and didn't like it even then.
Wait, you saw this in a theater?
I saw this in the theaters.
That's insane.
Did not like it then. Before we go into why it's not likable, why don't you tell the audience what it's about?
What is it about? Well, I'll tell you. Scientist Sherman Klumps' inventions.
That's it? That's the whole thing? Scientist Sherman Klumps' invention?
That is the weirdest. The sentence doesn't make any sense.
What about his inventions?
It's Scientist Sherman Klumps' inventions, his upcoming marriage to his pretty colleague Denise Gaines. Oh, okay. And his reputation are threatened by his evil clone, Buddy Love. Well, that's what happened last time, kind of.
Did they use periods instead of commas? Is that what?
Yeah, no, it was.
Okay.
It fucked me up.
I understandable, but
hey, guess who was a special little writer guy on this?
I just saw we got a turncoat.
We have a turncoat. Didn't he write the last one?
I don't remember. It was just in the wake of Me, Myself, and Irene. It was sort of an odd experience for this, so I'm just like Steve Odekirk, Jim Carrey's old high-strung pal. He was like, oh, you don't want me to help you write your weird personality, inner fighting movie? Fine, Jim. I'll go do it with your competition. And we're going to release our movie shortly after that one.
Like 2 weeks after.
America needed more of these types of comedies in the theater. They weren't done giving up on it yet.
So, as I believe he has, does he have sole screenwriting credit on When Nature Calls? I think he did. Or no, he did. Did he direct When Nature Calls?
Oh, maybe
that's right. He directs When Nature Calls. So yeah, he wrote The Nutty Professor, co-wrote When Nature Calls, and then he comes back for the sequel in between all of his Thumb movies. You know, Thumbtanic, Thumb Wars, The Phantom Cuticle.
He's got to keep up his, craft. Can't take these long breaks.
Bat Thumb.
Yeah. All right.
The Blair Thumb.
I remember the Thumb movies.
Really late on the Blair Thumb because that is after the Blair Witch sequel that he makes the Blair Thumb.
Well, he's like, that sequel sucked. I got to give that movie a real sequel.
He created the Santa versus Snowman 3D short. Good for him. The God Thumb, which is what he followed that up with.
The God Thumb, do you think that was his take on Bruce Almighty?
You're hilarious.
Yeah.
It's The Godfather. I think you know that already.
Oh, I would call that movie The Godfinger then.
Well, let me tell you something. Spoiler alert. Motherfucker wrote Bruce Almighty.
Oh, dang. All right. He's just like...
Yeah, he's just like, who are my two boys? Eddie and Jim? Here we go. He's the common denominator.
I would not have expected that at the beginning of this.
Me neither. This has taken quite a turn.
Okay. I'm gonna tell you that my thoughts on this movie have not changed. When did this movie come out? 2000?
2000.
My thoughts on this movie have not changed since I was 10 years old. This movie is a gross movie, and I don't like looking at it.
This movie's not good. It's definitely way worse than the first one, and the first one's one of my favorites of Eddie's stuff. But I will say, it did hit the gross factor pretty hard when the hamster is shooting shit out of its ass. That was too much. I was like...
It knows to use its crap as a weapon, which I don't think it knows as a regular animal. As a regular sized animal, it wouldn't do it. Why would it do it now?
Yeah, it's using it as like a Gatling gun or something. It's wild. What'd you think of Janet?
Yeah, so that's not the same lady?
No, it's not Miss Purdy. It's Denise.
And they just said,
Jada, Janet... They won't know the difference. It's like, what?
I just don't... It felt like a lot of the first movie didn't happen, including some people also not knowing who, Buddy Love... Sure, you, for whatever reason, want to set him up with this new love interest, because you're like, well, currently our script draft is him learning the exact same lesson as he did the last time.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to be like, well, we don't buy that, but if we just insert a new woman, then it makes total sense? Okay. But then he has that outburst, and he's like, oh no, Buddy Love. He could just say, hey, listen, it's that Buddy Love guy. You know, that made national press 2 years ago when it came out at this big fundraiser thing, and I made my college a lot of money, but for some reason my boss still hates me because I don't make him enough money. What? I just don't... It felt...
We were in a different presidency. It was 4 years ago, my friend. That was a Clinton administration. We're heading towards the Bush.
And the grandmother doesn't remember Buddy Love and thinks he's a stripper. They were all there for that climax. It was a big deal. It doesn't seem like it was aggressively noteworthy.
Are you trying to give Steve Odekirk notes?
Yeah, I wish somebody did. So what is the background? Did Jada not want to come back? Was Will Smith keeping her on a tight leash or something? What was
I got it right here, apparently. Janet Jackson as Denise Gaines replaces Sherman's girlfriend in the first film, Carla Purdy, because the actress who played her, Jada Pinkett, left due to marrying Will Smith, her pregnancy, and later her signing on to the Matrix sequels. But Carla Purdy is briefly mentioned. I thought she was going to doing the Matrix sequels, but also pregnant and being married to Will Smith. Do Will Smith and Eddie Murphy have
little beef?
Underlying feud?
Yeah, the marrying Will Smith seems like it didn't need to be added. You could have said, well, she got pregnant and
very strange that is on there.
And was doing this other movie. That is all fine. Okay, I buy all that. Makes sense. Well, also married Will Smith. So it's not 1950 anymore. She can still work if she's married.
I know.
All right, well, at that point, we got so far in the movie, I thought they were just kind of forgetting about the first movie in total. Other than, it's like that Batman movie with the vampire guy, right? They said, listen, we want to do a Batman story, but we don't want to be bogged down by all the getting started nonsense. So this movie was we want to do a soft reboot of The Nutty Professor, but we don't want to rehash a lot of that old stuff again. Everybody knows what's going on there, the audience, I mean, and then, we get a whole new adventure. Now this time Buddy Love's outside of him. Ooh. So they didn't have to mention her, I guess. By that point, I'd already been all right, well, I guess that didn't happen or whatever.
Yeah. This movie. Did you, So I'm going to tell you, like I said, I like the first, 5 or 7 minutes. The wedding sequence is like a dream, you find out.
The badly aged CGI?
Oh, what are you talking about? What's the badly aged CGI for you?
Oh, are you going to make me say Eddie Murphy coming out of his own butt?
I think that is inspired. It was the only time I was hooting and hollering. I was like, "Oh, we're in for a real a real treasure here, a hidden gem." And then the movie continues, and I'm like, "Okay, well, I guess we're not. I guess we've diverted from doing something so wild and silly and crazy, and yet, yeah, because it gets into spoof territory, It's them going to the all-you-can-eat buffet, and you're like, okay.
What are they spoofing there, though?
I don't know, but it's just
fat people being fat. His farts are so massive and strong. They set the place on fire because a candle happened to be nearby.
It's just like it's the stuff you would see in like the scary movie and like all those like.
There's like this old lady's really horny. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, isn't it funny because she's old?
This guy's farting through space, and his father looks like Obi-Wan Kenobi. Ah, ha, ha, ha.
Yes. They bring in the Star Wars score. I don't know how much that must have cost. The space thing is supposed to be a spoof of Armageddon.
Yeah,
that came out 2 years earlier. Mm-hmm. Okay. But yeah, I thought it was great when Eddie Murphy is coming out of his crotch area and then his legs are out his ass. And I'm like, this is weird looking. This is very strange. I've never seen this before.
We're just a week removed from that being like, wow, we're so glad this cow was a real cow. Looks so great. And now I'm looking at all this little goop running around and the weird little baby and it's...
Yeah, the
and I thought we were this close to I'm like, we're getting 2 booby sucking jokes in 2 weeks in a row. Like, what's going on in the year 2000? Everybody having terrible Oedipal complexes or something. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there's the Cape Fear parody.
Oh, yeah.
Where Eddie's and it's just like, all right, I guess we're doing this.
Steve Odenkirk's run out of ideas. And more notes, Steve. You set up this whole thing of like, hey, fat Eddie Murphy, you got to accept that you've...
Excuse you, Mr. Klump.
Yeah, sure, great. Fat Eddie Murphy, you've got to accept that you've got skinny Eddie Murphy in you, and like he's a part of you, and you can't just get rid of that. And I thought, okay, this could be neat, right? Because in the first time he was like learning to suppress it. But now he's got to accept that this darker side's part of him, but that still makes him an okay person, even though it's there. But no, despite the movie telling me over and over again, you should have accepted it, you should have done this, he just has to drink some magic water and then the problem's solved. There was no actual psychological component to the movie. I don't know. Could have been something.
Well, let me tell you. Although it had a stronger opening weekend than its predecessor did, grossing $42 million versus its predecessor, which grossed $25 million on its opening weekend in 1996, the domestic box office results were slightly lower. The first film grossed $128 domestically, whereas the sequel grossed a little less with $123. The sequel did significantly less business internationally than the first film, which grossed $273 million globally, while the sequel managed only 166 globally.
You didn't make all those fans in China after Mulan?
Fucking hell.
They watch that movie, they're like, oh, I don't remember the Huns coming here. When did that happen? What?
I think the international box office for Eddie will open up a little bit more with a animated feature coming up soon.
Yeah. I'm not surprised. This movie did not do well internationally. I'm surprised the first one did, though. So, like, I can't.
Well, because Eddie is a name, and now they're like, but we've seen this trick before, Eddie.
We don't need all these farts, Eddie. It's okay.
Yeah, because the only sequels he did up to this point were the Beverly Hills Cop.
Part of that is because there was a lot of stuff in there that didn't warrant sequels because it was bad. There was never going to be a Vampire in Brooklyn sequel or a Boomerang sequel.
Well, he made a Coming to America sequel.
Oh, yeah, 25 years later.
That's true.
30 years later or something.
Something like that.
The fat Eddie Murphy makes this youth formula.
Use his name. His name is Sherman.
Yeah. And his boss, who still doesn't like him despite liking him at the end of the first movie.
Is that Larry Miller?
Yeah. The guys, look, we're going to make so much money off of this. They want to buy your youth formula. And look at the number. It's like $150 million, which is $260 million today. And I thought, that's all you get for a fountain of youth formula that can literally de-age you? That's what a bad Marvel movie makes. That's all you're getting for the fountain of youth? That doesn't seem like enough.
It doesn't.
And it's just so... I know it seems like a lot to us, Joe Schmoes, but for...
Hey, put some respect on my name.
Okay, thanks, Joe. All right, so the movie, not as big a success. Is this why Janet Jackson had to go flashing her breasts in the Super Bowl a year later?
It was a year later.
2 years later, I guess, because it was February of 2002. She's like, JT, I need your help. My movie career didn't do what I thought it would.
I should have never worked with Eddie.
I should have worked with Jim.
Can you imagine? She's just like...
I knew I should have taken that role in Me, Myself, and Irene. Why? What was I thinking?
Well... Our friend Roger
Uh-oh.
Roger, Roger, Roger. Roger, 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 Roger. R-O-G-E-R. R-O-G-E-R.
He couldn't have liked this. Oh no, maybe he loved it.
Our friend Roger gave this film 3 stars. Psychopath who never likes comedies is all of a sudden like, this is my shit, this is my bag. Noting that while it was raucous and scatological, the film overall proved to be very funny and never less than amazing.
Never less than amazing? Less than amazing is a place the movie never went? That can't be true. I was there.
It's so great.
10-year-old Patrick was like, this is too immature for me. Roger's just like,
10-year-old. He's slapping his knees.
Yeah.
He's standing up, giving a round of applause.
Great Cape Fear reference. Yeah, nice.
I know that one. Come on, Roger. You're better than this. This is after Siskel, so like this is like what's his name? Richard Roper.
It might have been the in-between time before he found Roper, and it was like a different guest every week.
Think so?
I think so.
I
think Roper comes in. I think Roper's like 2001, 2002.
Ebert and Roper. September of 2000. He had the summer to wild out, baby. He was going crazy. That's what he was like. He's like, this is great.
You can't rope me in, Roper. I'm in loving this movie. Whatever.
He was what comes out in September of 2000? I'm trying to think. What's the movie that really like he was like, all right, time to get back down to business.
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is in 2002.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
After 9/11, because they had a whole sequence in that movie that was supposed to be with in the towers. And
I guess I thought that was Spider-Man 2 for some reason.
They did some reshooting. They had a commercial that's in the towers, and it's pretty crazy to look at.
What comes out in 2000? What are the awards?
Trying to remember movies? What was the year?
Is that the Gladiator year?
That is Gladiator, but that's in May.
It's May. It's a summer blockbuster for them.
Oh, we got Traffic. We got Aaron Brockovich. We've covered Aaron Brockovich.
Okay. Ebert's like, yeah, Aaron Brockovich. Okay, it's no Nutty Professor to the Klumps, but it's fine.
This Julia girl. We'll see about her.
I don't think I would find it as amusing if she farted. So like, whatever.
I think it'd be kind of funny. Do we have any crossover? Chris Elliott been in anything we've watched?
Chris Elliott.
Yeah, Chris Elliott's a restaurant manager. I saw him when he popped up on my Amazon little...
I totally missed him. Did he have a line?
Yeah, he's in it very briefly.
Talk about a guy in scary movies.
Yeah, I know.
Right?
Did you see Wanda Sykes?
I did see Wanda Sykes because I'm like, oh, there is that girl that Drew dated in the Drew Carey show a little bit.
Wow.
And then one of the students was Drew Carey's attractive cousin.
Do you have her name?
Nope, I do not. She was also in the Norm show.
Okay, so this must be Nikki Cox.
Yes, that's her name.
She was married to Jay Moore for 12 years. Very short filmography. Starts with Mac and Me. She's girl number 1 in Terminator 2, so she
made it.
Then she's in one episode of Mama's Family. She's in one episode of Night Court, 2 episodes of Baywatch. She's in an episode of Boy Meets World, and 1 episode of Drew Carey Show.
That's right.
Character was Kristen Carey.
Yeah, she's like the lone attractive Carey. That's why it's a big deal.
She didn't die, did she? Because her career really just craters in like 2009.
I won't say she was the most talented of actresses.
God, the strays.
She was fine, but if her career sort of declined and she's like settles into motherhood or something like that, or even maybe straight modeling, I would say, yeah, okay.
So this is the cover that I was trying to put on my Letterboxd, but it's not on Letterboxd. I'm sending it to you right now. This is the infamous The Nutty Professor 2, The Klumps uncensored director's cut poster.
I hope that wasn't what we watched.
No, we did not watch the uncensored director's cut. We just watched the regular.
2 thumbs up. Oh, man. It does say Ebert and Roper.
I do see that. Maybe they came back and did it at the end of the year thing.
Could be. Roper liked it too? Come on.
That's wild.
Collector's edition. Yeah, all right.
Maybe they were just in the bag for Eddie.
But we've seen him not like Eddie films. Anyway, all right. Well, you distracted me because I was using the Nicky Cox to get to my Drew Carey music licensing issue problems.
Of course.
Moon over Parma, bring my love to me tonight. Guide her to Eastlake.
Drew Carey's trying to impress a lady by, as we all do, by playing the accordion. That old trick. And he's playing a song. He thinks it's one song, and he realizes, oh no, I'm playing Lady of Spain. But then he's excited because he knows how to play Lady of Spain. But here's the problem. They don't have the rights to play Lady of Spain, I guess. So they just put in some generic accordion song. But now that whole beat where he talks about having realized he's playing a different song, they have to just cut around it.
Jesus Christ.
He just starts playing the song. They awkwardly cut to the rest of the scene. When a new character comes in.
They're messing with joke rhythms so much.
I know, it's unfortunate. But again, I just want to be clear, Plex, no shade on you. It's just, it's unfortunate that this is the only way we can get it. But I'd rather have 70% of Drew Carey Show available for everybody to watch than no Drew Carey Show at all.
They figured it out with Malcolm in the Middle. They figured it out with Freaks and Geeks.
I don't know, man. Maybe just
Freaks and Geeks had so much music in it.
I don't know. I don't know who makes these decisions. I don't know. I'm just happy for something.
I know that there's like 7 or 8 more seasons of the Drew Carey Show than there are Freaks and Geeks, but still,
yes,
it's a best-selling DVD set.
Don't know who makes these decisions. I will hope that they try to improve it, but at least we got something. You know, considering that it happened 20 years after the show went off the air.
Did you know he served in the military?
I did not.
He was a sergeant.
Oh.
Of the Marine Corps from 81 to 87.
Well, you know, not a bad time to be in the military.
Yeah, what is he doing?
Yeah, exactly. That was one of those rare slow periods in the American military.
He was wondering why he wasn't shooting, what was that movie that Eddie did in the war? The Best of Enemies or something?
No, that was
What's that one called?
Yeah, what the hell? We'll never know. We'll never know what that movie's called. Best Defense. Best Defense.
Best Defense. I think we should go back and cover every single Drew Carey movie.
Yeah, I'm sure that's exactly what the audience wants.
Well, we can make it I would tell you, it's half the miniseries that Whoopi was. And we've already covered one of his movies. Yeah, and we technically should be covering the first movie he did. He kind of begins and starts his career with Sandler.
He does?
He's in Coneheads as taxi passenger.
Oh, okay.
He's in this movie, The Big Tease, in 99 as himself, cameo appearance.
Yeah.
He's in Robots with Ewan McGregor and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Crank, that's his voice role. And he's in The Aristocrats as himself again.
That's a documentary, though.
That is a documentary.
What's the one we've seen?
Jack and Jill, where he plays himself. Do you remember
that's right. She's on The Price is Right. She's on The Price is Right. Yeah.
And she hits her head on the wheel. That is such a funny gag, and the fact that I know you didn't laugh bums me out.
Nice. If they were going to get me with something, that would have been a good one.
Like, she's like, I'm going to do this, Drew. I'm going to do this. Oh.
Joe,
so
you
good.
left out the Geppetto movie. The TV film
Well,
Geppetto.
that's TV. I'm talking theatrically
releases? Yeah, that's not a... it's nice that they got him in Robots. Like, it was very, very delightful of them. I just... nobody wants to hire Drew Carey to act in things anymore.
He goes from... This was Drew Carey's 2000. He's in this Baby Blues as himself, an episode called Busy Moves In. He's in an episode of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire as himself, a player, episode 90.
I think that's just Celebrity Who Wants to Be a Millionaire.
Yep. And then he is Geppetto in the made-for-TV movie Geppetto.
Great cast. Bad movie.
Do you know what he follows up his appearance in Geppetto? The next thing he's credited under?
No.
He is the 5th entrant in the WWE Royal Rumble in 2001.
Yeah, did you catch that one where you're like, wow?
I did. No, that's a fun Rumble.
Okay. What does he do?
He walked into the ring gets scared by a really big guy, and then he jumps over the top rope and he eliminates himself.
That's a good bit.
Yeah, it's a good bit.
All right, you like listening to hearing about Drew Carey and not the Klumps? Is that what you all tuned in for?
Hey, we talked plenty Klumps. We were clumping it up. The whole thing where he like loses his memory and he becomes
he becomes dumb. That's your third act ticking clock. Yeah.
But the trajectory of the clock like ticking is sped up so much in the last like the third act.
They changed their mind. They're like, eh.
Because it was going very slow, and he's just like slow, and then all of a sudden he's just like, I don't know what your name is. Yeah. Like, what is happening? I don't think that would happen. I don't know. I know it's like a silly comedy, but I'm like, what are we doing? Follow your rules.
They're chasing around the goo version of his DNA.
Yep.
That can somehow still talk and have locomotion. I wouldn't think too much
Giving him the middle finger. And then getting you must have loved when the goo was on the large woman's butt.
And then the lady farted.
And then she farts.
It's a lot. Thinking back over this movie is like a lot more deflating now that I'm imagining Roger watching that same moment and just being like, oh, Eddie, how rich, how delightful.
It's,
just like, Roger, come on, man.
I told you, Roger's slapping his knees going, you got me again. What a perfect fart joke.
I hope in that Roger Ebert documentary, they were like, we're talking a lot of nice things about him, but all of his opinions weren't right. And then they'll like go through a list of movies that he loved that he clearly shouldn't have.
Well, I mean, he has like in his later years as a critic, he did go back and like redo some of his like reviews of in the like 80s and 90s. But I think he like got softer in his older age. He loves Baby's Day Out.
And you know what? I was okay kind of with the premise of this. I like this idea, this Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, but like you have to accept both of them. And I think it's a little fun, the idea that now Skinny Eddie Murphy's on the outside and like there's an actual physical component to this that he has to contend with. He's literally fighting himself, but the point is he has to accept him into himself. Mm-hmm. And I know he drinks him in the end, but he doesn't gain any of the buddy. Maybe he learns to be a little tougher when his boss is mean to him, and his boss is like, whoa, okay, respect, dude. And then like...
Yeah, none of that, though.
Yeah, it's just like, nope, I'm exactly the same as I was at the beginning. The end. Come on, Steve. What are you doing here? You wrote High Strung. You can't figure this shit out yet?
High Strung. You had that great moment where you introduced us to baby Kirsten Dunst. Do you remember? She's like walking off the porch and she's like, thanks, Mom. That was her line. And then like a year later, she's in Interview with a Vampire with Tom Cruise, Brad Pitt, and Antonio Banderas. And she's like, wow, real sets, real actors.
I like this a lot better. I guess Jim Carrey was in that last movie, but you'd never be able to prove it. And I wasn't in the scene with him. Okay, the Klumps. We got nothing. Klumps just a crappy movie.
I'm clumped out.
Here's my theory. I know Jada didn't take the movie because she was pregnant, but there was a lot of
Matrix sequels.
There was a lot of shots in this movie where I'm like, is Janet pregnant right now?
Rude.
But like, is she? Like, it's just there's so much awkward framing of her sitting down behind stuff, standing in front of things, shots just like from the breasts up. Like, it seemed like they were trying to avoid certain things. Do we know? Does Janet pregnant have a child around this time?
I don't think so. I'll check it out.
Does she have any children?
I'm not sure. I'm just gonna blame it on the crappy director. We've watched plenty of his movies because he's done plenty of Sandler movies. He's definitely not our love Dennis Dugan. She does not. She has one child, not listed as a year, but
so it could be.
She was married from 84 to 85, then married from 91 to 2003, then married again 2012 to 2017.
She's had it tough in love. Poor Janet Jackson.
I don't know. I don't know when her child was born.
I'm going to stick with my theory then. Point of my story is I didn't like this movie very much. Do I like this movie less than Eight Crazy Nights? This is an important question I'll have to ponder.
Wow.
I know.
That's a big one.
I know.
That's your bottom of the barrel, right?
Because I don't. How long is this movie compared to 8 Crazy Nights?
This movie is much longer than 8 Crazy Nights. This movie is an hour and 47 minutes.
That could be a factor. I'll have to think that over.
It's a long one. It feels long because it just become very vignette-y.
I guess when going through 8 Crazy Nights, there's never a moment where I'm like, okay, this could go somewhere. Mm-hmm. The Klumps, I'm like, okay, we're doing something here. Ultimately, they don't deliver on it, but there were times where I'm like,
Yeah, but are you saying you're not excited to go to the mall and see all the brands?
No.
Are you saying you're not excited to go to see who's going to get crowned the Festivus thing?
No.
Whatever that was.
No.
I'm trying. I'm trying to remember anything of that movie.
Another movie we just watched.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was fun.
Sure.
I'm glad I never have to do this again. Like, we all downhill from here, it feels. Like, we got it out of the way.
Oh, we are on the downhill slope from here on out.
I'm sure he's got other bad movies coming up, but I don't see them, so I don't know to be afraid of them.
My friend, I think this was a balm for a lot of what's coming.
You think I'm going to be missing these halcyon days of the Klumps?
I think so.
God help us.
We're still in like the Billy Madison Happy Gilmore phase.
This is now. But that's a good point, right? Because I've talked a lot about this mid-90s of this being Eddie's transition career to like his family-friendly phase. But this movie does not feel very family-friendly at all.
No, there's hamster, assault.
So I think maybe I'm misstating it. Perhaps I should think of this phase as Eddie's broad comedy phase, right? Because his comedies in the late 80s and the early 90s, they were more like adult comedies, very niche type comedies, usually action comedies. They weren't just like straight farcical comedy kind of things. And that seems to be where we're at now. Not necessarily for children. The Dr. Dolittle seems very inoffensive. Mm-hmm. But the Klumps and some of in Life and like these other things in there don't seem to fit in as well with my thought. So I'm going to reevaluate. I think this just broad comedy phase, not a huge fan of, but here we are.
This is going to be crazy. We are on the next, I would say the next 3 or 4 months, we are in for it.
Oh, no. Well, if you're excited to see my pain, and based on the movies you listeners check out the most, you clearly are, you're going to be eating good, everybody. Get your forks and knives out. It's Thanksgiving here. What the hell happened to them? All right, well, I had to thank my sponsors, All That Yaz. Is that a remake you're excited to see, Joe?
Hesitant, but I will see it.
You'll check it out. You'll see what the kids are into.
Yes.
What they're all yazzing about.
What's with the yaz?
People dancing around, shaking their yaz hands.
Ooh.
All right, I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping the sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
Thank you.
And I am your host, Patrick Scale. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar-sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
All right, well, Joe, I'm sort of always watching The Simpsons, just always good background fare, whatnot. Here's why a lot of people are like, let the show die, blah, blah, blah. Aside from the fact that it is kind of getting a little of its magic back, I'll say I think we need to always have The Simpsons, and here's why. It's a great artifact. Mm-hmm. Because you get to see the culture transition. And not in the South Park aggressively topical, like, this subject matter was important. But, like, the stylistic trends,
Sure, yeah. Like when Homer found out how to use an iPhone.
They're not quite like that.
Demarcate, like, when he started using the iPhone and Apple became a real brand.
Yeah. No, but there's, like,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The show has phases. It has, like, eras. And in one era, like, this is social commentary, political commentary, that was sort of a big deal. Or in this era, this type of humor was big. Like,
yeah, 2 different eras, the good era and the bad era.
No.
Just kidding. I'm just being a dickhead.
it's the classic era, but then it enters like that political era, but then it enters like that Family Guy style era where it was trying to keep up with that, and like so, or even just the fact that at one point Homer could be poor, struggling middle class guy and still have 3 kids in a house and 2 cars. Like there was and like obviously you can't do that now, but that family is still doing that. They kind of shy away from that now. He doesn't choke his son as much anymore, right? Like you.
No more child abuse? Oh, darn.
Yeah, and they used to be like the anti-family, right? They weren't the nice family. But like some of that's washed away now because that's not what the comedy's about, or all the families are dysfunctional now, so it's not as funny to lean that route anymore. But you get to like point to it because it's the same characters, but their world has changed because our world has changed, and it's a good way for young kids to learn about what mattered to us old people. Back in the day.
I guess we're old.
We're old. I also find it amusing as I get closer to newer episodes, the references make less sense to me. I say, who the hell
Too many
is
Lady
that?
Gaga references.
Yeah, I'm like, what the they do some like one-er
Lady
music.
Gaga now is like a 15-year-old reference.
Yeah, I know.
You know what the funniest thing is going to be?
What?
Well, already it's kind of funny, like how Rick and Morty became so involved with The Simpsons for like a couple of seasons, and then it's like, is that show still even on, or is it coming back? What is that show?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that show can just like disappear for 2 years, and Cartoon Network's fine with it.
3 years now? I think it's on its 3rd year of just disappearing.
I don't know. I it's tough to keep. I just like sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't. That's how it is in my mind.
For 10 weeks, it gets a 10-week run.
Yeah,
and it's done for 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, how is it taking them so long? Simpsons are cranking out like 22 a year.
Yeah, well, back in the day, Harmon was like, we're not going to be so precious with like the plots and the episodes. I'm like, yeah, because it's a fucking 20-minute cartoon.
Yeah.
Get over yourself.
I read something with him somewhat recently where he was like, yeah, my psychologist was like, you're unhealthy, you're dangerously unhealthy because you work too much. You got to like roll it down. And so now he's like, all right, I only work 4 hours a day. But I believe in that same interview, he also said like he's less stringently involved in the show.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I kind of tailed off and stopped watching it, because I was like, no, it's just some regular show now.
Yeah, I think he's got like a showrunner, and then it's like a Chuck Lorre thing. The showrunner just like, hey, Chuck, what do you think about, hey, Dan, what do you think about this? Are we in like the good direction? He goes, oh, yeah, okay. But with Chuck, that made sense. He was doing like 8 shows at a time. I'm not sure what Dan Harmon's doing with his other time.
Well, what he does is he'll put his fingers in like a bunch of different like pools, and he'll be like, how about we try this show? And then it'll go on for like 6 episodes and get canceled, and he'll like waste like 2 years of his time doing that. And I'm like, okay.
I didn't know he was working on other stuff.
I mean, I've really dropped off on following a lot of his stuff, but I used to care.
Someday that Community movie will come out.
Someday. When there's like 3 people left.
I bet they could figure it out. I don't think it'll be that hard. Hey, I thank you for taking that bullet for me.
What bullet?
The electric state bullet.
That was a movie that was second screen experience. Coleman Domingo's in that movie for like literally 3 minutes. It was
why did
such
he
a
bother?
Because I definitely think he's on Netflix payroll, and he just like how Gary Cole is on the HBO payroll, where he just shows up in every season of every show. Oh, you need a guy? Yeah, I'm
a
a guy
with a deep but like even keeled voice. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'll take the case, as his Harvey Birdman character would say.
I'll take the case.
Well, I'm glad I didn't watch that.
I think
But it cost him like $200 million for no reason.
$320 million is the reported budget on that movie.
Yeah, there is no way they'll ever... I don't know how they measure making that money back, but they won't, and I'm surprised they're still doing projects like that.
Subscriptions!
Yeah, but it has to be like more subscriptions than you would have gotten without making it. So I don't know how
Check
you
your
measure
emails,
that.
buddy. Your subscription went up to $35 a month.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh, okay.
It is $25 a month, though.
I guess I was somewhat
Didn't it start at like $7.99 or something?
Well, that was tough because I never got streaming by itself because I was always having the DVD still. They just like added it on to it.
Yeah.
And then it went down a lot when they got rid of the DVD, so that was nice. That was a nice benefit, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I also got to watch Better Man.
I saw you liked it a lot.
Good movie. It's a great movie.
It's a fine movie.
About it's just like regular biopic shit from like a recording artist or whatever.
Yeah.
But you know what makes it so cool? The fucking monkey.
Yeah.
You know what's great? Watching a monkey snort coke constantly.
It's a movie about
It's a choice.
a guy who hates his dad, but then kind of likes his dad, even though his dad was always the same shitty dad. But other than that, yep, it's a movie biopic.
With the monkey.
Mostly movie biopic. A secret movie biopic. I thought I was just getting some monkey movie.
The poster's pretty great, though. Like, this poster with the monkey with the sunglasses on the Rolling Stone cover, that's a great poster. We don't get many great posters anymore.
Nope. We definitely get a lot of the same posters.
Yeah, like this Electric State poster. It's just embarrassing. Everyone's checked out. I bet no one's actually there. I think they were all photoshopped into this picture.
Yeah, I think there's one poster guy, and he's got to make all the posters, and he gets tired and runs out of ideas. He's like, all right, what if I put like a bunch of heads all next to each other, and there's like a big magical background in the... What if I have like one guy in the center of a ruined world around him, and he's like walking away from the camera?
Speaking of posters that were not photoshopped, the Nutty Professor 2, the Klumps. What a great poster. You get all the Klumps on there, not photoshopped.
Not photoshopped, no. As the Amazon X-Ray told me, movie stars Eddie Murphy, and co-starring Eddie Murphy, and Eddie Murphy, and a special guest appearance by Eddie Murphy.
With Eddie Murphy.
All right, let's start the show. Let me drink the water.